Good evening, everybody. Kalla here. Welcome to my live stream. Glad you could make it today. So, today it's back to Cupid Parasite, and I think we can finish the common route this time. Pretty sure. Hopefully. Last time we came away feeling a lot more positive about our parasites after they got a little bit better. Only a little bit. They still need a lot more improvement. And hello Ethra, oh hello Nick. I'm hoping this isn't, wait. Why is this buffering? Okay. I was gonna say I hope this isn't another sequel of me fighting OBS, but I was very worried for a second there because just at the exact right time, it just decided to just buffer my preview. All right, shall we? I have played games with longer common routes. Thank you, Quinrose. But let's get to it. So one night after dinner, the Parasite Five gathered together in secret.
それで全員に話ってなんだ、ギル。
夜更かしはお肌に悪いから手短によろしく。
あ、うん。ほら、もうすぐこのシェアハウスも終わりだろ。
ああ、そういやそうだね。案外早かったね。
もう一月経つの？おかしいな。予定では彼女ともっと神話談義をするつもりだったんだけど。
Bro.
長い一月でした。
Of course, everyone would think it was a long month. He's been having to work overtime, basically, right?
だが、実に実りのある一月だった。
確かにこんな機会がなけりゃ絶対やろうとは暮らすこともなかったよ
な。初めてしたけれど共同生活って結構楽しいね。こうやって男だけで酒飲むなんて初めてだよ。
I don't think this counts as a bros night out, bro.
っていつの間に酒開けてんの？
Okay, maybe it does.
これってそういう会じゃないの？みんなもどうぞ。
これはワインか。
ワインを飲むと豊穣とブドウ酒と酩酊の神であるディオニュソスを感じられるからね。
Trust her all to go. This is wine and therefore Dionysus.
俺もちょうだい。
はーい。ほら、ギルもオーウェン君も。ケイサイン君は未成年だからブドウジュースね。
Wait, how old is Ricky again? How old is Ricky again? Oh wait, I forgot. This is set in America, sort of. So, drinking age will be higher.
はあ？こんな時間にブドウジュースなんて飲むわけって何勝手についでるの？
あ、ありがとう。
ありがとうございます。
So, how drunk do we think the boys are gonna get tonight?
みんなグラス持った？じゃあ改めまして乾杯。
I know we saw his age on his form, right?
銘柄は
つまみ何かない？
あ、ごめん、俺普段あんまりつまみとか食べないんだよね。何か持ってくるよ。
あ、ラウル、
Ah, yes, I remember the door. 221B Baker Street. Why that door? Hi, Noel. How you doing?
ラウル、座って。それでギル、なんか言いたいことあるんでしょ？
うん、軌道修正ありがとう、計算員。実は俺、パラサイトハウスが終わるとき、彼女にお礼がしたいと思ってるんだ。
Aw, look at Gil being all thoughtful.
彼女ってアドバイザーさん？
この番組と共同生活がうまくいったのって彼女のおかげだと思うしさ。それに彼女は俺たちを結婚させようと頑張ってくれてるから。
まあ、実際結婚できそうなやつはここにいないけどな。
Yeah, you're not. Especially you, Alan.
私のクライアントならばすぐでしょう。
Very confident there, Owen.
ああ、そのはずだ。
俺は恋のことはよくわからないけど、女の子と話す楽しさがちょっとは分かったかな。
それってまさか彼女のことじゃ。
Gil's like, wait, this is backfiring.
あんなに神話トーク通じる子いなかったし、叱られるのって結構楽しいね。
Why can't we do Raoul's route? Please. Game.
まさかこの企画ってライバル増やしただけ？
Did you only just notice, Gil? Did you only just notice?
俺はライバルじゃないから安心しろって応援してるからな、ギル。
なんか怖い人に応援された。どうせ他の人が両思いになったところで横からかっさらいに来るんだろ。
そんな無粋な真似はしないって。
信用度ゼロだよ。
でも確かにこの生活結構楽しかったかも。
Yeah, I'm also thinking that Alan's identity as an incubus is gonna be route specific, right?
ケサイン君が出れた。
へえ、ケイサイン君も誰かとの生活の温かさに目覚めちゃったんだ。
うるさいな。
He's blushing.
なんで俺にミストなの？
あんたが一番肌荒れしてるからだよ。アラン気持ち悪いぐらい肌綺麗だし。
俺は肌がツヤツヤになるような生き方してるからね。
とにかく話がそれだけならもう僕は寝るよ。夜更かしが一番肌に悪いんだから。
え？ですが昨晩ずいぶん夜遅くまで仕事をしていたと思いましたが。
Well, that's exactly why he shouldn't stay up late tonight, Rowan. One night of bad sleep is enough, but two in a row?
気のせいでしょ。っていうかあんた寝てると思ったのに起きてたわけ？
起きているのか寝ているのかわからないとよく言われます。
Owen? Dude? What?
ケイサイン君ストイックなのはいいけれど、たまにはこうやって遊ばなきゃ。遊びがなきゃいい仕事は生まれないよ。
あんたまで姉さんみたいなこと言うんだな。
Alan sounds like your sister. That's not good.
そりゃ大人ですから。年長者の話は聞いておいた方がいいよ。年の子って言葉があるだろ。
うんうん、確かに 遊びはしとけって昔はよく先輩俳優に言われたよ。その方が演技の幅が広がるからって。
分かったよ。じゃあ今日は付き合ってあげる。でもあんたらと飲むためじゃなくて彼女へのお礼の内容を考えるためだから。
素直じゃないな、ケイサイヒン君は。
Gilly, you're already drunk.
酒臭い。もう酔ってんの？おい、こいつにそんな飲ませるなよ。めんどくさい。
これぐらいの量じゃ普通酔えなくない？
ああ、そうだ。全く酔わない。とっても酔わないぞ。
That,
世界が回って。
that sounds like being drunk, Mr. Snail.
あんたも酔ってんじゃん。おい大人、年長者なんだろ。ちゃんとしろよ。
お酒飲んだら女の子欲しくなってきた。隣の部屋から彼女呼んでこない？
Oh no. Don't you dare, Alan. Don't you dare.
お礼考える場に本人呼んでどうすんだよ。ダメに決まってるでしょ。ああ、もううざい。早く部屋出てってよ。
When the youngest person is the most responsible. Did I hear some loud noises coming from the other room? What the heck is going on? I knew I should probably investigate, but I was already in bed and I just didn't feel like it. I'm just glad everyone's getting along so well now. Since the last episode, the house has been pretty peaceful. No yelling matches, not even any major arguments. The Parasite 5 were finally getting along and working together. And thanks to that huge fight before, it seems like they've all been more willing to listen to me too. Raoul hasn't been talking about mythology as much, and I've got a couple of messages from what I think is Monsieur S himself. Ryuki, Gil and Alan haven't changed all that much, but their reputations have improved thanks to Parasite House. At this point, these guys might actually be able to hold a normal conversation with women who are looking to get married. And that thought suddenly made me realise something. That's right! The time has come to fulfill the original goal of Parasite House! A few days later. I suggested to the show producer and Mr. Snail that we should invite viewers to a matchmaking event for the 4th episode. Raoul's agent gave us the go-ahead, and we put up a post on the official blog asking for participants. We're letting the Parasite 5 loose around women again. How badly can that go? The fateful day had arrived. 4th and penultimate episode of Parasite House. Oh, that looks good, Gil. It looks so good. I really like corn on the cob. On the barbecue, it's really nice. Sorry.
もちろん。とびっきり甘い夢を見させてあげるよ。君にそれがしてね。
Alan being Alan? Everyone was enjoying the barbecue party, and the Parasite 5 were surrounded by women. I was content to watch from a distance. Thank goodness, this is exactly how I was hoping Parasite House would end. Just so many of our female members had rejected them, I thought it might be impossible. It's all thanks to the show. I guess by advertising each of them as one part of the Parasite 5, we found fans for each of their personalities. Basically, it was a matchmaking approach that would have been impossible in any other situation. Still, I have no idea how many of the women here are actually serious about marriage. My gut was telling me they were just there to meet the Parasite 5, not necessarily their future husband. They were basically fangirls. As for Raoul, Ryuki, and Owen, I looked around and found Raoul being mobbed by a group of girls competing for selfies. True to his movie star status, he was spending the night taking photos with his adoring fans. But he's got his agent with him, so he should be fine. How about Owen?
ええ、そうです。私が代理で全ての会話をさせていただきますので。
ってことは、オーエン君と結婚できるってこと？
That's a good question from that girl. Does that mean that I'll marry you in his place too? It's a very good question.
いえ、私はあくまで代理でして、全く結婚生活に関与するつもりは。
Are you sure?
でも結婚後もオーエン君が代理で会話してくれるんでしょ？それって実質オーエン君との結婚じゃない。
Owen's got his own fans. I think I'll let Monsieur S handle that one. Anyway, where's Ryuki? You think Owen would be better than Snail? I mean, Owen also doesn't have a clue what he's doing, as we established. Spotted Ryuki spraying mist at every woman in his vicinity, but none of them showed any signs of giving up.
もちもちする。というか、計算員君のそのゴミを見るような目、たまらない。
Ryuki's found the masochists.
それもご褒美です。
I'm not sure if that's okay or not. I was about to go talk to Ryuki when suddenly someone grabbed my shirt. Ah, Mr. Cameraman. Peter, where's your camera?
カメラが三脚でそこに置いてある。それよりも私を隠してくれ。見知らぬ女性に追われて。
Is someone trying to hit on Peter as well?
カメラマンのピーター君いた。ねえねえ、こっちにまたらうよ。
Yep.
私は兄と違って女性はダメなんだ。
So your brother does know how to talk to women then? I've just gained a reasonably decent idea of who Peter might be. Peter let out a high-pitched scream and ran into the park. I had no idea Peter was so bad with women. He was always walking around with a vacant smile on his face, so I had no idea something like this could cause him so much trouble. Now I think about it, Peter had a habit of talking even during the broadcast, so he had a certain following on Instagram. Apparently a few of the girls at tonight's event were big fans of his. But still...
キル君かわいい。失恋なんて忘れさせてあげるから、ここ抜け出してどっか行こうよ。
ごめん、それはちょっと。やっぱ彼女を忘れられないし。
その失恋パラサイトぶりたまんない。かわいい一途なんだ。アランさん、略奪して。
wasn't exactly the kind of matchmaking party I was expecting. It was more like a photo shoot for some idol group. The whole situation was making me uncomfortable, so I hid myself in the corner. Hiding behind some trees, I took a sip of my drink. Suddenly, I sensed someone standing behind me.
リネット、ちゃんと食べているか?
Ah, Mr. Snail, hi. Oh, yeah, I ate a little earlier. Just some jelly drink, though. No! Don't do this to yourself, Lynette! Not the jelly drink! So, like, there's a part of my brain that thinks that Peter might be, like, another god. And if he says that his brother is good at talking to women, then I think that makes his brother Zeus. Or Jupiter. Which means he can only be two possible people, which means he might be Hades, or I guess Pluto, right, for Roman. It's... maybe? This is hinging on a lot of maybes. But it's a working theory. Based on mythology. The barbecue was so crowded, no! What? What? Sorry. Start that line. The barbecue was so crowded I couldn't really get close, so I just finished off the jelly drink from my date with Owen. Which was how many days ago? Girl! Have you been passing that around for like a week? I had so much to do during the broadcast, there was no time to eat anything. But at least everything turned out okay.
そうか。ならよかった。随分と盛況だな。
Yeah, I hope things go okay for everyone.
彼らなら平気だろう。ああ見えて骨のある男たちだ。
Yeah, a little too strong for their own good at times.
それより、この企画がここまで成功したのは、君が頑張ってくれたからだ。ありがとう。
Huh? Did the president just compliment me? It's okay. I'm just doing my job.
だが、お前ほど熱心な社員はいない。そうだろう。
He gave me a soft smile. My heart started beating a little faster at his warm gaze.
お前は会員のことを第一に考えている。しかも会員が結婚した後のことまで見据えているだろう。ノルマを達成するだけならば結婚生活など考えずに成婚させればいいはずなのにお前はしなかった。なかなかできる人はいない。
No, really. I'm a bridal advisor, and all that is part of it.
だが、おかげで私も仕事に対する考えを改めることができた。
Oh?
そもそも最初は恋愛などに時間をかけてはもったいないと考え、マッチングアプリを開発していたんだ。
Wait, really?
ああ、あの頃の私は仕事や勉学のことしか考えていなかったからな。いや、それは今もか。だからお前のように心から会員のことを考えている社員がいてこそ我が社は成り立つんだ。私だけではこうはならないだろう。
So much praise from the boss.
お前のような社員がいてくれてよかった。 これからもその調子で頼むぞ。
President gave me a quick pat on the shoulder, then walked off. As I watched him go, I couldn't suppress the smile that rose to my lips. I'd never known anyone who thought so highly of me before. Dad always just expected me to do well, and my colleagues would always ask why I bothered to work so hard. As a god, I was expected to properly matchmake people. But obviously that's not normal for a human. Most people who work hard are motivated by a paycheck. So they didn't understand why I cared so much, but Mr. Snail just gave me a really nice compliment. I need to work even harder so I can keep living up to his expectations. He entrusted me with the Parasite 5, so the last thing I want to do is let him down. Looking at the Parasite 5, I thought about how tomorrow would be another day of hard work. The fourth episode came to an end without any major issues. Thank goodness. The barbecue drew to a close and we saw off the female members. Then we made our way to Raoul's jet and flew back to Parasite House. Where did you have this meetup? That we're using Raoul's private jet.
Tadaima. 飲みすぎちゃった。
やっぱここに来ると帰ってきたって気分になるな。
疲れた。
Yeah, snails might just be workaholic, right? Everyone was relaxing in the living room and took turns using the bath. It was another normal night in Parasite House. My turn for the bath came and I washed off the day's dust and grime. I collapsed onto the couch and opened up my laptop. I should update the blog with today's events. Oh, but maybe I'll check Instagram first. I pulled out my phone and searched #Parasite House. Today's episode of Parasite House was awesome! Peter was so cute running all over the place like that. Wait, they're allowed to go after the same person? That's rad. Man, I wish I could have been on the show. Oh, the comments are pretty much all positive. Just like me, lots of people questioned what kind of matchmaking event it was. But for the most part, everyone seemed to like the show. Even though it was a 1-hour special, Bomber Chorizo didn't show up. I was a little worried about that, but it turned out okay. Yeah, I was wondering where that guy was. Considering how much time and energy I spent planning the event, I was relieved to say the least. Alright, time for a blog update. After putting up a post, I was planning to put together an updated matchmaking support plan for the Parasite 5. So I lost myself in my work. I suddenly felt something cold touch my cheek. Huh? Ryuki-kun?
フェイスマスク。とっておきのやつ。
He's blushing! Wow, it's so soft. The texture, the moisturizing effect, it was almost certainly several times more expensive than the ones I normally bought for myself. Are you sure I can have this?
仕事頑張ってる人は尊敬できるから。
He glanced at my laptop screen. Apparently he'd come over to show his appreciation. I can't believe even Ryuki is trying to compliment me. Thank you, Ryuki-kun. I couldn't help but smile as I began applying the face mask.
笑わないの。よれるでしょ。
Sorry, I'm just so happy.
そうならよかった。まあ美容には悪いから仕事はそこそこにしてちゃんと寝なよ。
I do really like this music track. As Ryuki turned to go, I saw him blushing just the tiniest bit, and his ears seemed to be turning red too. See? He's blushing! I told you. Was he embarrassed? Was Ryuki embarrassed or something? He's always so crabby. It's definitely possible he was embarrassed at doing something nice for a change. He didn't just miss me like he usually would. I'm sure he thought about it and picked a mask that would fit my skin the best. I'm really happy we decided to do this Parasite House project. Oop. We got points! There have been so many firsts for me with them. I was hardly able to provide any support as a bridal advisor at all. But each of them has definitely changed in some way, and it's all thanks to living in this share house. Okay, I don't want to make Ryuki worry about me, so I should hurry up and finish this blog post so I can go to bed. As I was working on the blog, I could practically feel my skin getting softer. He really is the glamour parasite. I've been trying to fix that side of him, but maybe he's okay as is, as long as he can be considerate of others. But what made him become so fixated on people's looks in the first place? My guess was it had something to do with him being such a dedicated fashion designer. But I'm not exactly a trained therapist, so the last thing I want to do is dig into it too much and end up hurting him. He's still young, and he tends to take things really seriously, but his private life is still a complete mystery. Although he did say that everyone in his family talks about their facial grade thing a lot. In any case, I should sit down with everyone again after Parasite House is over. That's what I was thinking about as the night drew to a close. Good night and good luck, huh? And so, at last, today's the final episode.
Oh.
Raoul gave a small cheer and quick bit of applause. He was the only one to show any amount of enthusiasm. As for the others...
うまくいくかなあれ。大丈夫なはず。
今日は各部屋を撮影するそうだ。みんな掃除は済んでいるか？
I mean, I'd guess that the number of points we need, if you mean to get onto one of the routes, it'll just be whoever has the highest. But, in terms of ending, probably far up there. Probably not a full 100? I don't know. We'll see.
え、撮影入るの？やばい、あれ隠さなきゃ。
What do you have in your room that you don't want people to see, Gil? Gil, we're just about to start.
すぐ戻ってくるでしょ。それよりほら、始まるよ。
時間だ。行くぞ。
You want me to try and assign Guild Wars professions to the Parasite 5? I mean, I was about to say Mesmer Furuyuki. Mesmer Furuyuki is fairly obvious, I think. Other than that,
君たちチャンネルはそのまんまパラサイトハウスの時間だよ。
I feel like Raoul would probably be a revenant, given how that class works. Given that it's all about legends.
最終回の番組の司会も僕みんなのボンバーチョリソーがお送りします。 前回のパラサイトハウス見たかい？すごい大盛況だったな。みんなありがとな。そしてついに5回目の放送の今日はパラサイトハウスの最終回だよ。僕もみんなと婚活男子を応援できなくなるのは寂しいよ。でも決まりだからね。
It's a good thing Boa Chorizo's back this time. I mean, Paladin isn't even a profession in that game. I think you're talking about Guardian.
Parasite ファイルたち、元気かい？
間に合った。元気だよ。
ヒル、ずいぶん息が切れてるけど、大丈夫かい？
And I don't know about profession for Gil, but he'd clearly be working on leveling his cooking.
大丈夫大丈夫。彼は重要なミッションをしてたんだ。
そうそう。ハンドラの箱が開く前に閉じたんだよ。
Pandora's box.
そりゃ大変だったな。しかし、ついにパラサイトハウスも最終回。みんなには今回学んだことを教えてもらうぜ。
He's getting better at ignoring things.
ということで、みんながそれぞれ過ごした部屋で今回の1ヶ月についてを語ってくれ。
Time to see everyone's rooms. Oh, I bet the thing that's in Gil's room that he didn't want the camera to see is the thank you to Lynette, right?
俺はすごく楽しかった。普段は一人暮らしだからご飯作るのも張り合いなかったけど、ここではみんなに食べてもらえたしさ。まあ何人かは全然食べてくれなかったけど、でもおかげで押し付けは良くないって学べたから、すごく糧になる1ヶ月でした。たまに深夜起きた時、この石像には驚かされた。
Ah, yes, I forgot about that.
ああ、たまにギル寝ぼけてこれに抱きついてたよな。
Oh dear.
嘘。やっぱボルトモア出身だからネプチューンが恋しいんだね、きっと。
俺のこと捨てないでとか、君のことは永遠に忘れないよって泣きながら抱きついてたよ。
Aww.
待っ ってそれここで言わないで後で聞かせて。それより2人は今回の1ヶ月はどうだった？
俺も結構楽しかったかな。子供時代のことを思い出してちょっと初心に戻れそうな気がしたよ。
子供時代？大家族だったの？
ああ、違う。俺の両親って冒険家なんだけど、それで世界中連れて行かれてたんだよ。行った先々でこうやって大勢と暮らしたなーって。
Interesting role.
意外なラオル・アコニットの素顔発見。こいつはお得だぜ。
でもね、一つだけ心残りがあるんだ。結構みんな忙しくて時間が合わなくて、それで映画鑑賞会ができなかったんだよね。
As he showed off his mythological movie collection, he had a slightly dejected look on his face.
だからまた機会があったらこの映画鑑賞会をしたいなって思ってるよ。
こりゃすごい量だな。全部見るのに1週間かかりそうだ。
Raoul wanted to watch all his movies with people.
俺も楽しかったよ。女の子以外と暮らすなんてって最初は思ったけど、男とのシェアハウスも悪くないもんだね。何より気を使わなくていいからさ、女の子とは外で遊べばいいし、終わりじゃないって思ったよ。
Alan, He totally forgot this was supposed to be a matchmaking show. He just kept going on about how nice it was living with a group of guys. I held up a cue card that had a question about the matchmaking written on it. Helen just grinned back at me.
ああ、そうそう。このパラサイトハウス中もちゃんと婚活してたよ。
Alan! Completely forgetting why he's here.
でも、女の子に断られちゃってね。ということで、過激な火遊びを求めている女の子は
Stop shilling your work.
9番街ラグジュアリー
On live TV.
どうぞ。
Alan winked at the camera and everyone in the studio cheered. No, stop it! You can't just openly ask for a one-night stand like that. Well, I hope you managed to find a nice wife for yourself, Ellen. Anyway, on to the next room. So, Yuki-kun, how was the last month for you? Huh? He's back to the way he was at the beginning. Yuki just stared down in silence, but just as I was beginning to panic, he finally looked up at me.
僕は正直誰かと同じ部屋とか最悪って最初は思ってたんだけど、まあ悪くなかったよ。
Yeah, but I mean, Ryuki, you didn't have to deal with the worst roommates.
シェルビンはショートスリーパーだからほとんど寝室にいないし、オーエンは死んでるのかと思うぐらい寝息静かだったし。
Exactly. Ryuki definitely had the best roommates. The guy who isn't around much and someone who sleeps really quietly. But I'm a little worried that he sleeps quietly enough that you thought he might have been dead.
変なアラームの音も変えてくれたから、初日以外は不快な目覚めをしなくても済んだしね。
アラームの件はご迷惑をおかけしました。絶対に寝坊するわけにはいかないと力を入れた選曲をしすぎました。
私は睡眠時間よりも仕事時間の方が大切だからな。
So what we learned, Mr. Snail, is that you don't eat properly. You don't sleep properly. How are you functional?
ストイックチームだな、この部屋。
This is the serious room.
アランにかかってくる電話で起こされるうちの部屋とは全然違うね。
正直今も結婚の何がいいのかわからない。でも共同生活は楽しいって思えたから、もう少し考えてみることにする。
Ken, I'm so happy to hear that. I was so touched I clapped my hands together. But then he hit me with one of his patented ice cold stares.
でもさ、あんたももうちょっと身だしなみに気を使った人を紹介してほしいんだよね。
Now he's hitting me with his complaints.
顔面偏差値がわかるようにあんたの目も成長してくれるなら、僕もマシな婚活ができる気がするよ。
Sorry, I'll try to get better at that. I've introduced him to so many actresses and models. I knew if I said that out loud, he'd just hit me with another string of criticism. So, next up we have Monsieur S, or rather, Owen, his stand-in. How did you enjoy your time here, Owen?
私も良い一月を過ごさせてもらいました。代理ですので、あまり積極的な活動はできませんでしたが。
なあ、私もたまにはこうして大勢でワイワイと食事をするのも悪くなかった。
No one asked you, Mr. Snail. No one asked you.
Cupid コーポレーションの社長は愛妻家で有名だもんな。普段は二人で静かにって感じか。
I get the feeling that Lynette is very close to the grade. If she's not quite there, but she's very close. I don't know.
ああ、そうだな。
Yeah, Snail.
でも正直、ようやく終わるということでほっとしております。
オーウェンは今回のシェアハウス負担だったのかい？
私はあくまで代理ですから。
まあそうだよな。結局本人は一度も来られなかったしね。
Yes, Monsieur S never made an appearance. No, definitely not.
はい。あ、そうでした。クライアントからの伝言を伺っております。C だけはある。興味のある女性は連絡をするように。基本仕事のみの付き合いで頼みたいが、希望があればもう少し会うことも検討するとのことです。
What are you doing, Monsieur S, trying to treat marriage like a business relationship?
一体どんな大物なんだよその人。でももう少し会うことも検討するって前よりはちゃんと成長してるっぽいな。
Oh, I wish he'd improved just a little bit more.
結婚後もろくに姿を見せずって、なんだかキューピッドとプシ系の結婚生活みたいで素敵だね。
Bro.
知らない人のために説明すると、キューピッドは結婚後、妻に神であることを知られないために夜暗闇でしか妻に会わなかったんだ。あ、俺の理想って。
Wow, no, that sounds like a sad romance. As his advisor, I'd love to hear about any other secrets Monsieur S might have.
いろいろとあるのだろう。きっとな。
No one asked you, Mr. Snail! Yeah, probably. Anyway, if anyone out there thinks they'd be okay with that kind of setup, get in touch with Cupid Corp.
ハードル高い結婚生活が待ってるな。
Yes, whoever it is. Couldn't be me.
こんな感じでリビングに戻ってきたところで、ラストはみんなのアドバイザーさん、一月の感想を頼むぜ。
Me? This wasn't part of a script. Bomber's improvisation took me by surprise, so all I could do was stare into the camera. The final word on this past month. It all started with everyone showing off their muscles, and everyone selfishly ran off without even trying Gil's breakfast. But then, during date week, I started to get a sense of what made each of them so appealing. Still, even a first-hand wedding experience didn't affect their interest in marriage. They were dedicated to their work, though. There were lots of problems along the way, but everyone came to realise the importance of working together and talking things over. And I came to see that there were other ways to approach matchmaking besides what I was already used to. Ultimately, I was complimented on my efforts for the first time, and by the president himself, no less. My time here made me realise that I still have room to grow as an advisor. I was definitely able to learn a lot, though. Living with others will always give rise to conflict. And of course that goes for marriage too. I realised that your ability to live with someone is about having the right mentality, not just raw compatibility. Matchmaking is my job, and as such I want to help people learn to value romance itself, just as much as getting married. So I'll keep doing my best to show everyone the wonders of being in love.
素晴らしいスピーチでした。ぜひ素敵な恋をしたいみんなは Cupid コーポレーション。僕もそのうち行かせてもらおうかななんてな。とここで残念だがお別れの時間だ。パラサイトハウス最終回見てくれてありがとな。お相手はバンバーチョリソー and パラサイト5提供は Cupid コーポレーションでした。またね。バイバイ。
Goodbye, Bomber Chorizo.
カット。よーしよしよし。みんなお疲れ様。パラサイトハウス最終回無事に終了だ。
はあ、ようやく終わりか。ほっとするというか、寂しくなるっていうか。
Yeah, looks like that's it for the TV show now. It's all over. As soon as the camera stopped rolling, I flopped down on the couch.
皆も大義であった。
なんでそんな偉そうなのあんた。
アシスタントディレクターというやつだからな。
Still don't know how you landed that, Peter.
ピーター君もお疲れ。君、イケメンで採用したからワンチャンあるんじゃと思ってたけど、人気出て面白かったよ。
That's how Peter landed it. He was hired for his looks, not his brains.
ワンタンか？あれはなかなか美味でな。
ワンチャンスだと思うけど。
They all started goofing around with each other as usual. Well, I just looked on in an exhausted daze. I'm so tired. Apparently, I hadn't realised just how stressed I was the whole time, but I felt like I'd finally been set free. Oh, I almost forgot. We're having a party to celebrate the end of the show. I need to start getting the food ready. I tried summoning up the energy to get off the couch and get back to work when, suddenly...
リネット、お疲れ様。
Huh? Oh, it's a bouquet! That's what he was hiding. I turned at the sound of Gil's voice and I was greeted with a gigantic bouquet. What's this?
みんなで話し合って用意したんだ。今回のシェアハウスは君のおかげで成功したからさ。
Oh, it's from everyone. You guys, I really didn't do that much.
でもあんたじゃなきゃ多分すぐに帰ってたよ。
Huh? Really?
あんたは他のアドバイザーと違って僕を軽蔑した目で見なかったから。だから嫌な気がしなかったんだよ。
Ryuki likes me. So that's why.
俺も君みたいに叱ってくれる子っていないからちょっと反省できたよ。
Oh, you appreciate that I was telling you off all the time, huh, Alan?
それに君にとってはただの仕事なのにさ、俺たちに親身になってくれたでしょ。それが嬉しかったんだよね。
俺も君はこんなに真剣なのに俺ってばダメだなってすごく反省した。
Aww.
君の気持ちを裏切らないように俺これからの身の振り方を考えてみるよ。
Helen, Gil.
私も正直我が社にこれまで熱心な社員がいるとは思っていませんでした。
そうだな。今回の一番の功労者はお前だ。だから素直に花束を受け取るといい。
Oh, you guys. I hold out my arms, wondering if it's okay to accept such a heartfelt gift. The bouquet's gentle fragrance tickles my nose. Oh wow, this smells beautiful. Thank you so much, everyone.
どういたしまして。じゃあ俺からはこれをプレゼント。
What's this roll? Huh? He grabbed my arm. I suddenly lost my balance. Oh!
この1ヶ月ありがとう。
Okay.
感謝の気持ちを込めて。
Well now. That's not gonna go down well with everyone else. Owen does work for Cupid Cop. He's Mr. Snail's assistant.
ちょっと何転んでんの？
膝の力抜けちゃったんじゃない？
君との1ヶ月楽しかったよ。できなかったこともたくさんあって後悔もあるけど。
You have regrets?
もっと仲良くなりたかったのにできなかったから。だからさ、次は俺ん家でシェアハウスの続きしようよ。
ラウル何を？
そこで今度こそローマやトロイやザ・ヘラークレスを一緒に見て朝まで十二神についての討論会しよう。
Paul whispered his words sweetly into my ear. It was a passionate invitation to his own mythology society for two. Raoul, why didn't you try using all this motivation to read your script again?
恋してそうな声だった？
Incredibly so.
じゃあやってみるよ。
Good job, Raoul. Raoul let go of me and ran off to his room. While he's better at cohabiting with others, he's a long way from living with someone he loves.
リネット、さっきの神話討論するなら俺も混ぜて。
Gil.
ギルも神話に興味あったの？
Gil, you've made a mistake. You made a mistake.
いや、今のは彼女に言った言葉で、実際はそういうわけじゃ。
No, Gil's interested in Lynette, not mythology.
やったー、嬉しいよ。じゃあ早速やろう。まずは入門編としてこの映画を一緒に見て、それから。
ごめん、違う、待って。俺まだ彼女に言いたいことが。
Bye, Gil! Raoul suddenly dragged Gil out of the room. At the same time, Peter entered the room carrying a plate of hors d'oeuvres. Gil, I took a calculated risk on better maths. The problem was that Raoul came back downstairs in time to hear Gil say it. Or hadn't gone far enough away that he couldn't hear.
では打ち上げをするぞ。
今日はケータリングを頼んである。好きに食べてくれ。
Yeah, catering service.
女の子のデリバリーはないの？
No, Alan.
それはない。
へえ、サラダが充実してる。やるじゃん。
顧客のニーズを考えるのも仕事だからな。
俺も食べるから待って。
Gil cried out from the back as Raoul launched into yet another of his mythology lectures. That much hadn't changed, but I didn't really mind. Seeing them all getting along like this, I couldn't help but smile. I'm so glad we decided to do this share house. It started as a way to advertise Cupid Cop, but it ended up being a good learning opportunity for the Parasite 5 too. Anyway, I should just relax and enjoy the party. The catering service really was quite extravagant. I grabbed a tasty looking sandwich and took a big bite. Even Mr. Snail was making an effort to enjoy the spread rather than going for his usual jelly drinks. For better or worse, this was our last night at Parasite House. Okay, so now they're gonna get they got messily drunk. The next morning, I woke up and saw everyone passed out in the living room. It was like a pile of corpses. We got some very hungover parasites this morning. Hey everyone. Good morning.
頭が割れる。ここまで飲んだのは初めてだ。
Mr. Snail stood up, his hands pressed to his head. I held out a glass of water for him. How late did you all stay up drinking last night?
それが記憶になくてな。確か途中から神話映画上映会が始まったのはうっすら覚えているんだな。
No, no, not the out-of-date jelly drinks again. Okay, so they were drinking and watching mythology movies.
そうだ。そして最終的には誰が一番酒に強いのかという話になった。
Oh. That'll do it! That'll do it!
ほんとバカらしいぐらいうるさかったよ。
Ryuki-kun, they didn't try to make you drink, did they?
するわけないでしょ。さっさと逃げて自分の部屋で寝てた。
Ryuki the sensible one saw the drugs, went, nope, I'm out of here and I'm going to bed. Thank goodness.
みんな情けない。 おい、オーウェン、しっかりしろ。
有給申請を。
Yeah, it sounds like Owen needs a sick day. Yeah, Owen doesn't look like he'd get much work done today.
あれだけ飲めば頭も痛くなるものか。
Maybe you should take the day off too, Mr. Snail.
そのようだな。幸い今日は急ぎの用もない。ベッドで寝直してくる。すまないが昼に起こしてくれ。
Yeah, go take a nap, Mr. Snail. Mr. Snail staggered off towards his room, clearly suffering from his hangover. I've never seen him in this kind of shape before. Since he wants to wake up at noon, he probably still plans to go into the office. Well, that's his call. In my party, I told everyone I'd be working remotely during Parasite House, so... I don't really want to leave them like this, so I guess I can just go back to the office tomorrow instead. I decided I could afford to do my work from Parasite House for the day. Will Snail be his own representative for the day? No, I think Snail's going to be asleep. Phew. After eating breakfast, I loaded up the Parasite House blog. I didn't get a chance to update it last night because of the party, but I wanted to write up a post thanking all of our viewers. Huh? There's a bunch of new comments on our previous blog post. I was immediately curious and clicked on the comments section. Which, you know, is, not the best idea, Lynette, but sure. Yep. I could have told you, Lynette, don't read the comments. There were over 100 new comments. All of them just said, I want to marry the Parasite 5. That wouldn't be a problem, except every post had the exact same text. Oh no, not a spam bot. Yeah. And looking closer, all the posts had the same username, which meant a single person wrote all of them. As soon as Mr. Snail woke up, I let him know what I'd found.
そうか。これを一人の人間が全て書いたと。
Yeah, I'm not confident it's a person, I think it's a bot, but you know. Also, Snail seems to be alive again now. Yeah, the sentiment is fine, but posting the exact same thing so many times is kind of worrying. The user had a link to her Instagram profile, so I clicked on it. I was greeted with even more scary fantasies. I want Ryuki-kun to spray me down and insult me. Do you think he'd notice me if I bought every single item in his boutique? I want Gil to pamper me till I'm totally useless. He's an editor, right? Maybe I'll hire him to write all my posts. I want to kidnap Owen and force him to tell me how to find Monsieur S. I'm going to add every last member of the Parasite 5 to my own personal harem. All of their comments had photos attached, like candid shots of Yuki and Alan's storefront. This is like stalker level stuff. If we don't do something, it could lead to real trouble. I mean, guys, if you want to leave me cute comments on my videos, go ahead. We need to take some kind of action to protect our members, don't you think?
その通りだな。報告ご苦労。対応だが、お前はどうするのがいいと思うか。
getting rather dark in this room. I need to go turn the lights on. There we go. Wait, me?
ああ、最終判断は私と広告代理店の担当とで決めるが、ここで現場の意見も聞いておきたい。
Well, if it were up to me, I knew I had to choose my words carefully. Ooh. Quick save. So, verging on Stalker Lady, do we report her to the social media app she's on, or to the police? I don't see what good reporting her to Instagram would do. Yeah, to the police, I thought so. We should probably go straight to the police. On top of stalking, there's also potential defamation and even criminal intimidation.
そうか、確かにそうだな。うちの秘書が万が一誘拐される可能性もあるし、それが一番いいだろう。分かった。私の方でやっておく。
Great, thank you. Well, if you'll excuse me, I should probably get to work. Okay, so either that wasn't a relationship thing or I messed it up. We'll see. I printed out the comments and put them on my desk. Couldn't stop thinking about it as I left the room. I said a silent prayer to ask that nothing bad come of this situation. But you think I should retry and see what happens if I go for reporting it to Instagram? Yeah, let's actually. I think that's probably a good idea. Yeah, we'll do that just a second. Once this loads. Right. Okay. Right, let's just go double check, since we are trying to aim for Snail. First off, we should report it to Instagram and to freeze her account. This is a clear violation of their terms of use. Otherwise, people could easily accuse Cupid Corp of being incompetent and putting our members in danger.
確かにそうだな。まずはこのアカウントをどうにかするのが早急に必要な対応かもしれん。分かった。私の方でやっておく。
Great, thank you. Okay, it doesn't look like there was a difference. It doesn't look like there was a difference, so I'm actually going to go back and go with my first thought. I just hit... Nope. I just accidentally hit quick save instead of quick load. Okay, we're just reporting it to Instagram then. Whoops. Whoops. I hit the wrong button. Ah. Oh, it affects this. I think I'm gonna have to load up a thing and do some skipping. Because I think I just fucked this up and found a bad ending because I did the wrong thing. A month had passed since that trouble with the blog commenter that wanted to marry all of the Parasite 5. And now I was back in Celestia. Yep. Whoops. I hit the wrong button. I'm so bored. Puffed out my cheeks in annoyance. I'd been dutifully firing my arrows down into the human realm every day, but still. Anyway, we decided to have that user's Instagram account frozen, and that ended up causing all sorts of problems for us. But she figured out it was Cupid Cop that did it basically right away, so she started causing even more trouble online. A bunch of other dissatisfied former members got involved, and it ended up creating a perfect storm of anger. Meanwhile, we'd spent so much on the advertising budget of Parasite House, the business itself started to suffer. The Cupid Corporation stock price went into freefall, and a competitor swooped in and bought out the company. As for Mr. Snail, I mean, it's interesting to see the bad endings along the way, right?
ない会社は買収された何もかもおしまいだ私は
Poor Snail.
見捨てられたんだお前もとっととどっかへ行け私にはこの雨がお似合いだ
With that, he wandered off into the rain. Cupid Corp has completely disappeared from the human realm. With the company gone, I couldn't do my matchmaking anymore. Also, my dad had finally tracked me down. In the end, I'm back to my boring old role as Cupid. If only I could go back and relive that day. But I made my choice, and now I'm living with the consequences. We can go back, though! I wonder how the others are doing. After returning to Celestia, I lost track of the Parasite 5. I had no idea what they were up to at the moment. I hate to admit it, but it looks like I was utterly defeated. If I'd just used my Cupid's bow to shoot that angry member, maybe none of this would have ever happened. It started with one small problem, but once they all gathered together, it became a firestorm. If I'd used my divine powers, I guess it was just impossible to do things little by little as a human. Turns out, humans really do need us gods. If they didn't, they wouldn't be so eager to blame others for their own problems. I'm sorry, Dad. You were right. I was wrong. I let out another sigh, drew another arrow, and peered into the spring one more time. Spotted a couple who looked compatible, let loose the arrow, and bound them together. Just like so many times before. Well, we found a bad ending. We'll need to go back and load in and redo those bits in a sec. Before I do that, I'm gonna take a quick break for a drink, because this seems like a good point, and then we'll go fix that. I will. Okay, I'm back. So let's load up the save from the start of today again quickly and should just be able to. There we go. Skip to the next choice.
そうならよかった。まあ美容には悪いから仕事はそこそこにしてちゃんと寝な。
We'll go with the same choices. Skip to the next choice. I'm glad this game has a skip to the next choice function. For going through this. There we go. Okay. Right, we're back. Let's choose the thing that we meant to choose in the first place, which was reported to the police.
そうか、わかった。
Right. Okay. Fixed. Wasted love. I haven't been in the office in so long. Oh, how I've missed these uneventful days. It's officially been 2 days since Parasite House ended, so I'm back to the office. It's business as usual. Everyone has moved out of the Parasite 5 share house. Actually, with what you just said, Narwhal. A second, I'm just gonna check the flowchart. How far are we through? Okay, so that was that. So yeah, we're close. We're close. There's one potential misstep left for us before we exit the common route. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna actually make a save right here. Right, there we go. Now if we mess up the next one, it won't be quite as much. Those problem comments will be dealt with by the legal team and the president, and they'll be making police reports. I heard they even issued a formal warning to the commenter. Thankfully they got scared and apologised for their actions. As a result, the commenter's social media accounts were restricted and the comments on the official blog were deleted. I guess that's that. Well, no, nothing has been solved yet. In fact, now I need to ramp up my efforts to get the Parasite 5 matched. After all, I was busy dealing with Parasite House and the broadcast. Thanks to the show, the Parasite 5 are a hit. Memberships are up specifically because lots of people are interested in them. I want to heal his heart. I'll wait until he's comfortable meeting me. These kinds of members joined our listing. Obviously the first one is after Gil and the second one's after Monsieur S. Though honestly, I want the Parasite 5 to handle their own problems. But then they'll be running in circles for years. But if the women they meet are understanding and willing to accept them, there might be some wonderful matches. Love begins when two people meet in the middle. However, if one person takes the initiative, that's just as good too. Alright, time for some emails. Oh, we haven't seen Clarice in ages. Hey Clarice! I was ready to get down to business, but suddenly Clarice hugged me from behind. Her beautiful scent embraced me. Oh, Clarice! I'm sorry I left you all alone. Oh no! Don't die of loneliness, Clarice.
それでパラサイトハウスはどうだった？何人かとやった？
Clarice. Oh my god, Clarice! We're in the office right now! Save that for home!
その様子だとあなたの初体験はまだみたいね。
Clarice, we're in the office! Oh my god, shush! Office! Public space! Not the time! Save it for at home!
私気になってたのよね。お風呂とかどうやって入ってたのかなって。
We had a bathroom schedule.
あんな顔のいい男がたくさんいて誰も一緒に入らなかったの？
Hey Clarice, if you wanted to bathe with the Parasite 5, you should have joined me. Normal people don't do that, Clarice. Clarice put her finger to her lips and tilted her head. She looked so cute and playful, like an imp. She's such a cutie. Naturally, there's lots of competition for her. I feel sorry that she's Gil's unrequited love. Stop banging that drum, Lynette! By now, shouldn't you have realised that this is not it? If Clarice hits on anyone, they wouldn't be able to resist. Matter of fact, Clarice has had a lot of partners because of her charms. That's why I don't want Gil to get tangled up with her. He's a good friend of mine, just like Clarice.
そうならもういいわよ。あなたたちは自分の落ち度を客に押し付けるっていうのね。
Oh dear. I heard the door slam shut and saw a member storm out of a meeting room.
ほんと最低だわこの会社。もう何年も所属してるのに結婚できないし、毎年更新料ばっかり取られて、こんなの詐欺よ。
Someone's upset.
だいたい私は LCI 製の車を持ってる男じゃないと嫌って言ったじゃない。それなのに他の男ばっか紹介してきてほんと最悪。
I don't even know what she means by that.
うわ、出たよ。自分のこと棚に上げてステータスに固執する女。自分のこと顧みてから言ってほしいわよね。
Clarice, hush! Clarice isn't an advisor, so she just says the first thing that comes to mind about customers. Then again, in my experience, those types of customers tend to end their memberships eventually. No matter what we do, they get an attitude and quit. Then they write a 1-star review and turn into online haters. If they get to that level of anger, there's nothing we can say or do for them.
最近ああいう会員多いわよね。この間も受付で大乱闘になったの見たわ。
Oh dear. What, really?
ええ。パラサイトハウス見て会員になったのに、全然ああいうイケメンがいないですって。
Oh dear. I thought about the comments directed at Parasite 5 and start to get worried all over again. I hope this doesn't hurt Cupid Corp's image and reputation further. Because of Parasite House, Cupid Corp has had a boom in membership. Still, it doesn't hurt to be too careful. Even difficult customers need our support. After all, if the membership of Cupid Corp drops, I wouldn't be able to matchmake for them. At that moment, my Cupid's bow pendant started shining. It felt like it was telling me to use it. She's going to quit no matter what, so it's not cheating, right? She's a non-member and I'm not her advisor, so... That suggestion formed in the back of my mind as if there was a devil on my shoulder. Wait, no! That would go against my goals! After all, I left home because I told Dad that I would help people fall in love without using my arrow. If I use it now, I'll just prove myself wrong. I shook my head in frustration and let go of my arrow. The customer is long gone, and since we couldn't help her, she could ruin our reputation even more. I need to work hard and work smart. Matchmake twice as hard and twice as many people. That's even more reason to get the Parasite 5 married. Yeah, so they're not taking up precious time I could use for people who are easier. Clarice, I need to get back to work.
ずいぶんなやる気ね。
This is my calling, my duty, really. I smile and turn back to my computer. I look at the mountain of applications, all for the Parasite 5. And then I spent the entire day selecting 5 female members for each of the Parasite 5. I emailed them my list. I finished my work for the day and headed home. Already, night had fallen. Another late night. I wonder if Clarice is waiting up for me. I walk alone through the night to the subway station. Then I heard my phone ring. Is it Clarice? I should apologise. We had promised to go drinking tonight to celebrate my return back home. I bet it's not Clarice. I get on the subway and take out my phone. Quickly I realise it wasn't Clarice who was messaging me. Gil? Raoul and Ryuki too? What could this be about? Wait, what? I couldn't help but cry out at the message. From Gil. I'm sorry, I can't deny my feelings anymore. I tried to forget, I tried to move on. I tried to find new love, but I just couldn't do it. So I'm giving up on looking for some new romance. This isn't me running away, I promise. I'm going to follow through on my desires. He's quitting? Wait, what about Raoul? Our rehearsals were so much fun, thanks. Those compliments you gave me at the end showed me exactly what I need to do to make it seem like I'm in love. So I think it's time for me to go. Let's grab lunch sometime, yeah? He hasn't even fallen in love! Wait, could Ryuki also be... Living in this share house has shown me what I'm lacking as a designer, so I've decided to leave. I only came here because of my sister, and I now know that I have no need to get married. I'm sure we'll meet again. In the meantime, be sure to take good care of your skin. He said it's no longer necessary? Wait, does that mean that they're... I was getting really motivated to help find them matches. But in one fell swoop, all 3 of them decided to quit Cupid Corp. Which means we're down to Monsieur S and Alan. The next day. After yesterday's incident, I contacted the president. He agreed to meet with me at 5 AM, so I went to his office promptly. 5 AM meetings again? Seriously. That is not a time to be at work. Mr. Snail, we've got a huge problem! Every member of the Parasite 5 besides Monsieur S has left the company. Wait, Alan left too? Alan didn't even send me a message.
昨日の連絡では3人だと言っていたと思ったが
I went back to my office to confirm, but Alan has already cancelled his membership. I tried calling him, but he didn't pick up.
つまりパラサイト5はパラサイト1になった
I guess that's the game saying, hey look, you found your roots. Congratulations. What should I do? Parasite House put us on the map and a bunch of our new members are here just for them.
彼ら目当ての会員には申し訳ないが真実を話して別の会員を紹介するしかないな
Yes, so, but I had such high hopes for them all to experience a truly wonderful relationship. So, am I just supposed to manage Monsieur S for now?
そうだなそれについても少々考えたいことがある
Oh.
なのでパラサイト5業務は一旦終え 明日からは通常業務に戻ってくれ。
Hey, what? Okay, I understand. Normal duties. So I won't be looking after the Parasite 5 anymore. Which means... Is that off the table now?
なあ、昇格の話か。それならば心配するな。お前がパラサイトハウスで頑張ってくれたおかげで我が社の業績も上がったところだ。
Ah, I get my promotion. Yep, Parasite 0. Oh, thank goodness. It wasn't great for my original goal to prove my dad wrong, but it still felt nice knowing that someone appreciated my efforts.
では、すまないがこれから通話会議が入っている。話は以上ということでいいか。
A conference call at 5 in the morning? Mr. Snail is just as much of a workaholic as ever, I guess. No, I think that's all. If you'll excuse me.
なあ、ご苦労だった。
And so my Parasite 5 challenge came to an end. But at the same time, that end created a whole new challenge for me. Dun dun dun! We're on the route! It looks like we're on the route! We successfully made it! The common route is over. I guess we get Mr. Snail's backstory now.
私も行く行く。ほんと最高。
じゃあ今日の17時にクラブに集合な。バイ。
どうせみんなGしか見ていないんだ。どうせみんな。
Okay, not a whole lot of his backstory. I hit the alarm. It looked like my nap was over. Normally, 30 minutes is plenty for me, but that dream just made me feel even more tired. Okay, so because he doesn't sleep enough, he naps during the day. Okay, understood.
これだから眠るのは嫌なんだ。夢ばかり見る。
Oh, you have bad dreams about your childhood when you sleep, and that's why you don't sleep enough. Mr. Snail needs therapy. That's what Mr. Snail needs. What good does it do to dream about my younger days? Thinking about it is a waste of time. I need to just forget about it and focus on my work. And now I should check my emails. I hadn't been asleep long, but I was already buried in messages. I scrolled through them looking for anything especially important. One message caught my eye. It was an email from an important Cupid Corp client. I clicked on it and immediately started frowning. Talking like he's the oldest one of them, right? Well, I mean, there is Alan, who we don't know how old he is, really, but that in itself wasn't a problem. But they also want me to bring my wife along. Oh no! Someone wants him to bring his wife to a social occasion. How come this hasn't come up before? He needs a date, yes. This one was from an executive at a company that makes jewellery. Their president and I have a close business connection. He always wants to have these family meals. The idea is that close personal relationships can lead to closer business relationships. Building those relationships strengthens trust. so it's important to them to interact with the client's family. If he trusts me enough to bring his wife to our meeting, I can't just show up alone. That impacts my reputation without a doubt. Clients always talk about how much they want to meet my wife, and I always do my best to come up with excuses to avoid that. But if I say she's introverted, they say that's fine with them. If I say she came down with a cold, they say she should join as soon as she feels better. I know full well my excuses are starting to sound more forced by the day. So what I'm anticipating is fake relationship turns into real relationship. That's what I'm expecting this route. But I have no choice, because my wife doesn't actually exist.
だから婚活をと思ったのだな。
And I never imagined getting married anonymously would be quite this difficult. In this day and age, people can live totally free romantic lives or experience the joy of married life as they desire.
だが一人ぐらい会わずに結婚してもいい、結婚生活を重視しないという人が出てくると思っていたのだな。
Snail is only 32. Snail, you're younger than I am! But the final result? 0. I didn't expect to get 0 matches despite using my own company's service.
しかし不用意な相手だが秘密をばらされかねないからな。ここは慎重に。
Well, that prudence just makes it that much harder to meet someone. She told me I was too secretive. She said I should at least share my company's name, but obviously that had to remain top secret. After all, Shelby Snail, the president of the Cupid Corporation, has a reputation as a devoted husband.
勤め先の社名も明かせないような人間とは結婚できないというわけか。本当に婚活市場では地位が重要というわけだな。
Our data does suggest that those with high income but questionable employment do have trouble getting married. High income but questionable employment. Oh, you mean the mob? I considered developing a totally anonymous matchmaking system, but I realized that I was just avoiding reality at that point. Anyway, this was an email I had to deal with at that moment.
だが
I've had a good working relationship with this person for a while. And to be honest, I was starting to get tired of having to lie all the time. It wasn't fair to him either. He trusted me as a business partner, and now he wanted to see me as part of his family too. A person of high social standing would respond to that in kind.
私は嘘をついてまでこの地位にしがみつき続けるというのか。
But if the truth got out, it would destroy our stock value. I don't need a financial advisor to tell me that much. Still, my heart was telling me no. No caring human could be okay with continuing to lie to others like this. I thought about my old classmate at our advertising agency, who came up with the husband-president idea in the first place.
こんなことをアンソニー先輩に言えば若いと笑われるんだろうな。
32 might not sound young in general, but it's definitely young for a company president. I'm still not ready to give up some things. Also, Mr. Snail, 32 isn't really that old. Okay? Okay?
彼に相談すれば嘘を貫けと言われるんだろうな。
But I've noticed some tabloids talking about me not actually being married. I'm starting to snoop around for secrets. Looking at my call history, I frowned again. I'd gotten a call from the security company I'd had to keep an eye on things. They'd been calling me more often lately. Someone trying to open my door, someone taking pictures of my building. which meant that someone was trying to get into my home. There was no doubt that someone was looking into my private life.
私が実際に住んでいる家には幸い誰も来ていないようだが。
Oh, he has a fake house? Wait. Mr. Snail, how many houses do you own? So if someone's trying to get into your house, which isn't where you actually live, and you also have that holiday home, where you don't actually live, how many houses do you own, or do you just live in the office? The security company only ever contacted me about my second home, the house where we lived for Parasite House. Oh, okay. Okay, sorry. They're trying to break in to Parasite House. So his second home, that's fine. But my apartment was on 8th Avenue, and I was glad to know it was safe. For now. But nobody can ever know about it. After all, it's an apartment meant specifically for single people. Oh boy! Oh boy! If someone finds that out, that's a problem. But if people keep snooping around, they'll find out I don't live where they think, and they'll start looking for my real home. I need to figure something out before things go too far, but my matchmaking efforts have failed again and again. I checked my emails again. It's not like I was completely heartless. Lying with a straight face was getting harder and harder.
そろそろ潮時か。
Maybe you are the youngest, Nick. If by the sounds of it, after all, is also in the 30 club. Generally speaking, sure, but status and looks aren't what matter to me.
興味ない。一体なぜ？
Well, because I don't think that's where a person's value comes from. It's what's on the inside that matters most. For some reason, I recalled that conversation I'd had with her. She was always so straightforward. She was so intent on getting everyone married, it's like she forgot it was just a job. Like she really was the actual Cupid. Hey, well, here's news for you, Mr. Snail. She actually is the actual Cupid. We have plenty of passionate employees, of course, but few that had absolutely no regard for their personal advancement. Which is why I had the sudden urge to consult with her.
今までこの件はオーウェンにしか話していなかったしな。
Oh, is Lynette about to find out who Monsieur S is? I got the sense that she knew how to keep a secret. That she wouldn't thoughtlessly vent to others about her personal life. I considered whether I should reveal the truth or keep it secret. After some hesitation, I began typing an email.
Next up is entertainment news. Miss Ellie, an actress who, due to a recent photo, was a candidate for CC President Snail's wife, denied it on her Instagram. In contrast, Miss May, a fashion model, has claimed to be his wife. But Mr. Snail has denied it, and people are growing suspicious.
Ooh.
厄介なことになってるのね。でも、この撮影された写真って、どう見てもあの子よね。面倒なことにならないといいんだけど。
Oh, is this still about the picture that's actually Lynette? Several days after all the Parasite 5 had left, other than Monsieur S, I was told to return to my normal duties. Let's see, I don't have any meetings planned today, So maybe I'll get in touch with new members with some recommendations. I grabbed the folder with the profile sheets of all the members I was managing. Looking through it, I noticed the old Parasite 5 sheets still stuffed inside. Ah yeah, Ryuki's 19. Which is why when they were like, oh, Ryuki, you're too young to drink, I was like, wait, what? Because obviously here, he's old enough. But I guess in America, he isn't. I don't know what the drinking age is in Japan. That reminds me, Mr. Snail said that Monsieur S's membership status is currently on hold. I hadn't heard from him in a while, and even Owen hadn't been in touch, so for the time being I just left it alone. But he's still technically a member, so I should try to find something I can do for him. I heard the chime that told me I had a new email, and I saw it was from the president. I opened it, and the message was pretty simple. He wanted me to come to his office. Ah, wait, where you live, you can drink beer from 16 then? I guess here it's I think it's that much with, I think it's 16 if you're eating a meal in the pub, I think. Or like at home, maybe? I don't remember the exact rules because I'm a long way past that. I know there's some kind of lower age for like with a meal and things like that, or at home. Or something. I don't know. Could this have something to do with Monsieur S? Which you're clearly thinking because you were just looking at Monsieur S's profile sheet. But I mean, it is definitely to do with that, so... If so, it was perfect timing. I replied telling him I was on my way, then got up to head straight there. Oh, so it's related to the type of alcohol there, huh? That's interesting. It's really interesting how different countries have different rules for these things. Excuse me.
なあ、すまない、業務中に。
Mr. Snail looked at me from across his desk. He looked much more exhausted than when he'd called me up here at 5 in the morning. So, what did you want to talk to me about?
担当直入に言おう。
He is going to tell us!
私だ。
Congratulations, Snail! Huh? Sorry, I must have misheard you. You said...
オーウェンに代理をやらせていたのは私だ。私がパラサイト5の S 氏だったんだ。
He came clean!
もちろん、見込んだ。
Good job, Mr. Snail. Head pats for Mr. Snail, because he did a good job. The president was part of the Parasite 5. Mr. Snail, who'd become famous for his devotion to his wife, didn't actually have a wife and was using a matchmaking service. What? You're Monsieur S? Wait, it all makes sense now. I was surprised at first, but as soon as I'd heard it, everything fell into place. Thinking about it, Mr. Snail had never really acted like he was married. A Parasite House, he only ever had his jelly drink for breakfast and he was always answering emails, even mid-conversation. He spent every waking moment working. I always wondered what his wife must be like, and even doubted her existence at times.
しっくりくるか。お前でさえそう思うということは、やはり潮時なんだろうな。
Call it quits? Did something happen?
実は得意先と会食をすることになったんだが、夫婦でぜひ出席くださいと言われたんだ。我が社にとって大切な取引先だ。今までは言い訳をして一人で参加してきたんだが、いい加減断り文句も品切れだ。それに先方はいつも夫婦で来てくださるのに、こちらは一人というのはあまりにも誠意がない。だからいい加減打ち明けるべきかと思うんだ。
Volunteers tribute. Don't know if that's gonna. You mean you're gonna tell him you're not actually married?
声が大きい。
Wolves have ears and all that. Sorry, boss. Sorry. I put my hand over my mouth out of nervousness. Mr. Snail sighed. I could hear the exhaustion in his voice.
いや、お前が驚くのも無理はない。すまない。こんなこと一社員であるお前に相談すべきではないと思っていたんだが。
That's a good point, Mr. Snail.
私一人では手詰まりでな。知恵を貸してもらいたいんだ。
I see. You called her up here to go. So, Lynette, I'm not actually married and I need help. Please help me. I see. Well, why did they think you were married in the first place? Because he's been telling people he's married.
それは全て勘違いから始まったんだ。
Mr. Snail began to explain how it happened. This is gonna be good. It all began 4 years ago. It's weird because this text box is in Lynette's colour, but it's clearly Shelby's story. So it all began around 4 years ago. This would have been when I was 28. Oh no, sorry. It's going to he, so... Okay. He was being interviewed for a TV show and the host got the mistaken impression that he was married. Since he ran a marriage agency, the host thought Mr. Snail himself must be married too. But Mr. Snail thought he was talking about the agency's members. Apparently the whole conversation didn't make a lot of sense. Mr. Duff, Cupid Corp's top ad agency guy, was there too, and he kept pushing Mr. Snail to keep talking. By the time he realised what was going on, it was too late. It was a live broadcast, so he couldn't exactly walk back what he'd said. So instead, he took the experiences of a recently married friend of his as his own, and the studio ate up the entire thing. Oh no, it was a misunderstanding. Afterwards, social media started talking about what a loving and devoted husband he was. Mr. Duff saw what a huge reaction it was getting, so he just spread even more rumours all over the internet. Oh, it's the advertising guy's fault, understood. By that point, it was far too late to turn back.
それで今に至るというわけだ。
I see. It sounds like you were doomed from the start.
お前もそう思ってくれるか。
He let loose another huge sigh and leaned his elbows on his desk.
勘違いから始まった話ではあったが、結局会社のために利用するのを良しとしたのも私だ。
It's nice to know he didn't do it
だ
deliberately.
から余計に身動きが取れなくてな。とにかくそんなわけで今メールの返事に迷っているんだ。妻は人見知りだの風邪をひいただのでごまかしてきたが、それももう限界だ。
Well, I have an idea, boss. How about you hire someone to play your wife?
しかし一人に明かせば二人三人と告げなくてはならない相手が増えていく。そうすればいずれ世間にもバレるだろ だからもういっそ会見でも開いて公表しようかと思っていてな。
Press conference about it? I don't think that's a good idea, boss. A press conference? I really don't think you should do that. Imagine what it might do to the company. I couldn't stop myself from blurting out my honest thoughts. Later on, I felt like maybe I'd gone too far, but at the same time, I truly thought someone needed to rein him in.
しかし
Mr. Snail, Cupid Corp's entire reputation rests on the perception that you're a devoted husband. I can't imagine how many members came to us because knowing the company president was married made them feel reassured. How do you think they'll feel if they find out the truth? If the people who trusted us feel like we betrayed them, it's game over. Our stock could plummet, it might even mean bankruptcy. And if that happened, it would mean my dad was right. I could hear him clear as day gloating and saying, I told you so.
だが現に誰かに探られているような形跡がある。バレるのが時間の問題ならば自ら公表した方が痛手は少ない。
Someone's snooping around? Do you know who?
詳細はわからない。だが以前に手紙が入っていることがあった。詐欺師とだけ書かれていたものがな。
Oh.
それにいくつかの雑誌にも私に妻がいないことを主張する人間のインタビューなども載っていてな。どうやらどこかで私が妻帯者でないことを知った者がいるらしい。その誰かが執拗に暴こうとしてくるんだ。
You know, aren't things like marriage records really easy to look up? Why has no one not done that yet? I don't know. Mr. Snail dropped a magazine down in front of me. The title of the article was President of Cupid Corp is a fraud? Devoted husband or big fat liar? How awful! It's not like you intended for any of this to happen.
ああ、結婚して4年も経っている人間を追いかけ回すなど暇人もいいところだ。だがここ最近特に増えててな。近くに同業他社ができたこととは無関係だと思いたいわ。
Yeah, that's what I thought. So, like, did he falsify a marriage or something? Or has no one just looked ever? Ah.
高いお金払ってるんだからちゃんとした人を案内しろって思わない？
確かにその通りですね。ちなみにロサンヨークに新しい結婚相談所ができたことはご存知ですか？
ああ、なんだっけ、変わった名前の。あ、そうそう、あれ気になってて体験無料らしいし、ちょっとそっちに行ってみようかと思ってるのよ。
That's right, a new marriage agency popped up just recently.
まあ犯人を憶測で決めるのは危険だ。そもそも元会員や婚活を快く思わない人など私や CC を恨む人間も少なくはないからな。
He was right that there were plenty of members who would hold on to the anger of paying their fees and never getting married. There was also that incident with the blog the other day, and plenty of people have been disparaging Cupid Corp on the news lately. If they found out that the president wasn't married, it would be like tossing blood in the water. But what if we said he and his wife had separated or something like that? No, that would cause the same problem. A drop in stock prices and memberships, and the tabloids would have a field day. My next thought was actually trying to find him someone to marry as soon as possible. But we wouldn't be able to reveal who my client works for, and then we're getting into fraud territory. If he got married and then this all came out, it'd be a total disaster. So it would have to be the perfect partner. This is a tough one. We can't make a public announcement, but we don't have any leads for a quick marriage. What other choice do we have? Fake marriage! That's the only choice, Lynette. Oh, she's got 2 options. All right, I want to know what her other option is. 2 options came to mind. Yes! Quick save, let's go. I could pretend to be your wife. Go.
最善の方法はやはり公表。
Of course, I understand. Then it's decided. I'll pretend to be your wife until further notice.
Huh?
He shouted out and shot up from his chair.
どうしてそういう話になる?
Because it's clearly the best way for you to keep your secret. My first thought was, does Monsieur S have any friends or acquaintances that would be willing and able to marry you? But no. Then I thought we could use a temp agency to find someone to pretend to be your wife, but that's an extremely short-term solution. Sooner or later, your secret would definitely get out that way. That kind of worker handles all sorts of jobs after all.
確かにそうだな。妻として雇った人が別の仕事で他の人の妻として雇われてしまえば大問題に発展する。
Exactly, but as your employee, my fate is linked directly to the fate of the company. I've never dated anyone else, and I'm not planning on dating anytime soon, so there's no problem. Hey Snail, you should give her a raise for this.
いや、終わりだろ。何名案みたいな顔しているんだ。
Because it is the world's most perfect plan, Mr. Snail. It is the world's most perfect plan. And exactly what I was expecting. Huh? But haven't I? This way you don't have to disrespect your clients and your company's future is secure. Points! Let's go!
だがお前の気持ちはどうなる?
Hey, don't worry about that, Snail. What about them?
そのご両親とか私の妻のふりをするということはつまり妻のふりをするということで
Huh? Like you said, I'd just be pretending, so why would they care? Besides, they live far away. Trust me, they wouldn't get involved. There's nothing to worry about that. Far away was an understatement. In reality, they were up in Celestia, and they didn't exactly have a human sense of morality. Plenty of Lord Jupiter's exploits would be considered truly scandalous by human standards. The gods don't care about that. My goal is to get that promotion, right? And I can't exactly get it if the company goes under.
だが本来こういうものは一度きりのために取っておくもので
Yeah, the other one probably wouldn't have gone anywhere, right?
さすがにお前をそんなことに付き合わせるわけには
In fact, actually, let's check the flowcharts and see if it would have been. No, it would just have been a not getting points thing by the looks of it. It looks like we've got a couple of possible bad ends there, and another third one, and a fourth one. Okay, it looks like there's 4 potential bad ends along the way. Don't worry about me, I'll be fine. After all, I'm Cupid. Eventually I'd have to return to Celestia. I have no personal concept of marriage, so to me it's just like playing a role. To be honest, it kind of sounded like fun. You're gonna have a personal concept of it by the end of this, Lynette. Cupid. Oh, but if you don't think I'm a good candidate, I'm happy to withdraw from consideration. I'm pretty sure you're the only possible person he could ask this of.
それはない。むしろ私としては非常に助かる。だが、さすがにそれは。
If you think it would help, then that's that. Let's work together to be fake married for as long as you need. I held out my hand so we could shake and make it official. Mr. Snail just stood there, frozen.
しかし、冷静になって考えてみてくれ。我々が夫婦として振る舞えると思うか。パラサイトハウスで多少は一緒に暮らしたものの、ほとんど赤の他人だ。お互いの癖も好みもろくに知らないし。
Oh, then we should probably live together, huh?
は
Snail's side of this conversation is just, this really seems like a terrible idea for you. And Lynette's side of this conversation is just like, yeah, this is how we make it work, let's go. After all, you said someone had been snooping around, right? Living together would throw them off the trail, too. It's actually perfect. Living together is the best way to play our parts to the fullest. I hate the idea of people sneaking around spying on you in secret. Let's show those jerks who's really in charge. Once they see you really do have a wife, I'm sure they'll give up and slither away. We just need to keep it up till then. His two goals were to convince his client that he was married, and to get those dumb paparazzi off his back. Living together was the best solution for both of those things. In fact, I couldn't see any other way forward. For his part, Mr. Snail was frowning even more than usual. I could tell he still had serious doubts about the whole idea. Maybe he just doesn't think I'm reliable enough. I'd be pretending to be the wife of the president of the Cupid Corporation. But I was only a second-year employee, so maybe he just didn't have enough confidence in me. Girl, he has plenty of confidence in you. He just doesn't think he can do it. Please don't worry, sir. You just need me to do my part at work meals and dinner parties and stuff, right? I'll be sure to practice. Oh, but my table manners might need some work, so could you help me with that? I promise I'll work hard to learn properly.
いや、問題はそこではなくてな。
Also, if you remember, I've already been photographed and labelled as President Shelby Snail's wife.
そういえば、そうだったな。
Exactly. So I'd say I'm the perfect fit for this role. Of course, I realised I'd have to keep it a secret from my friends and co-workers, or they'd certainly start asking questions. If they ever found out, I'm sure they'd be shocked at the lie. That you were never actually married, I mean.
本当にお前は無理に言っているわけではないんだな。
Of course not! I want to protect the company too! Diplomacy check 20. As Cupid, it's my duty to connect as many people as possible. This company is the best way to do that, so I want to keep it safe.
会社を守るか。確かにこれが最善の策か。
It looked like Mr. Snail was finally relenting. He sighed and looked up at me.
わかった。お前に代役を頼む。
Fake marriage, get!
だがこれは業務だ。後ほど契約書を作成し、報酬の金額も決めるとしよ
う。Oh good, he is going to pay her more for doing it. Good responsibility there, Mr. Snail.
そして、お前に不満が出てきたら、すぐに打ち切ると約束する。 それで頼めるか？
Yes, absolutely. I gave him a sharp salute. His face was an inscrutable mixture of emotions. One thing was clear, though. He'd obviously resigned himself to his fate of having a fake wife. Anyway, I can't really go into the details because at least for a while I won't be staying here. I went straight home after work. Obviously I didn't tell her everything, but I let Clarice know I wouldn't be home for a while. For now, I'd be living at Mr. Snail's second home, in other words, the same place where we shot Parasite House. The president himself had his own place where he usually stayed, but apparently it wasn't appropriate to have a roommate there. Besides, he bought his second home as a place to entertain guests, so it was the perfect place for him and his wife to meet clients. Which is why Parasite House was chosen as the ideal location to stage Operation Pretend Marriage. Operation Pretend Marriage. Love it.
詳細は言えないね。ま、あなたが決めたならいいんじゃない？
Clarice is getting ideas about what's happening, but she's probably getting entirely the wrong ideas. It is! I'm not sure how long I'll be gone, maybe a month or two. I promise I'll be back eventually. Oh, and of course I'll keep paying my share of the rent, so don't worry about that.
あ、それは助かるわ。私もちょっと自分の部屋に男を連れ込むかもしれないけど、いい？
I mean, you do that even when I'm here, so... I started packing up my travel bag. The house had the normal daily necessities, so I just grabbed clothes and makeup. There's not enough room for me to bring everything I want, but I can just come back and grab more later.
Chi?
I guess we've got to grab Chi as well, that's important. Chi hopped over to me with a confused look on his face. After a second, he realised I must be headed somewhere. He hopped into the middle of my clothes. Apparently, he was coming with me. Since Clarice was still standing there, I couldn't say anything to him, so instead I just closed up the bag. I had my clothes, and Chi, everything I needed to get started. Okay, I'm off.
今から？
Yep, I've got a car coming to pick me up. After our meeting, we'd worked out the details. The moving company would have raised suspicions, so Mr. Snail would pick me up. Just as I'd mentioned my ride to Clarice, I heard a car pull up in front of the apartment. Oh, that must be him. Okay, Clarice, see you later. I gave her a quick wave and headed out the door with bag in hand. I hoped that the next time I saw the apartment I'd grown to love so much, all the trouble would have passed.
あの子が誰かの迎えで外泊ね。もしかして彼氏できたのかしら。
I told you Clarice was going to get the wrong end of the stick there.
だとしたら応援しなくっちゃ。忙しくなるわ。
Around 8 o'clock at night. Mr. Snail had just finished helping me bring in my luggage. Phew, that should do it. Thanks a bunch.
ああ、それではこちらが契約書だ。
The paperwork was labelled Spouse Proxy Service Purchase Order and included a non-disclosure agreement along with it. It had clearly defined work hours, along with a list of expected duties and a stipulation that extra tasks would earn extra pay. The president sure is thorough when it comes to stuff like this. It finally started to sink in that along with all my normal work, I'd actually be pretending to be his wife. I flipped through the contract. When I got to the detailed compensation section, my eyes nearly popped out of my head. Are these numbers right? You're sure I should be earning this much?
当然の対価だ。もちろん 私的な利用だからな。私のポケットマネーから出すから安心しろ。
He's paying a good amount, by the sounds of it. In other words, the company wouldn't be paying for it directly. He really does take everything so seriously. Then I'll make sure to work hard and earn my keep. I grabbed a pen, signed the papers, and handed them back to Mr. Snail.
ああ、これからよろしく頼む。では、私は一旦会社に戻る。すまないが、自由に過ごしていてくれ。
The thing is, though, if the paparazzi try and come by and, like, they find her and she's pretending to be his wife, like, she's been on camera in for Parasite House. Like, this is gonna be a big deal, right? Huh? But it's already 8 o'clock.
ああ、日付が変わるまでまだ4時間ある。
Mr. Snail? How long did you spend at work? Like, seriously, dude. If you're in the office at like 5 AM and like you work till like midnight, what the heck, dude? Mr. Snail really is a true workaholic. To him, 8 o'clock meant there was still plenty of time left in the day.
一応1時には帰るつもりだが、詳細な時間は読めないので先に寝ていてくれ。
Dude. No. That's gotta be bad for you.
それと、会食は3日後になった。会場はここだから、それまでに配置などについてよく確認しておいてくれ。パラサイトハウスの際に使用していたので、大まかな勝手は分かっていると思うんだ。
Huh? So you already want to use the house for a dinner party?
なあ、妻を連れて行くと話したら逆に驚かれてな。病弱で人見知りの奥さん、外に出られるんですかなんて言われて。私が今まで嘘をつきすぎたせいなんだが、確かに外での会食だと、たとえ個室にしたとしても、どこかでお前を隠し撮りされる可能性があるからな。
Oh, he's hosting the dinner here to try and avoid reporters, I see.
この間のように後ろ姿ならばいいが、万が一正面を取られたら終わりだ。だから秘密を守るならば、ここの方が好都合だろうと思い招くことにしたんだ。料理も信頼できる料理人を1日だけ雇うつもりだ。しかし、もし帰って家だとお前に負担をかけるというなら別案を。
He's even arranged for a chef. Oh, no, not at all. You can leave all that to me. I've always wanted to host a dinner party. We actually had lots of parties at our place during college, but usually Gil or Clarice took care of everything. So this would be my first time playing host. And it's such a nice house too. I started getting excited just thinking about it.
そうか、よかった。
Mr. Snail breathed a sigh of relief and seemed to relax a bit. As the president, he could have just ordered me to do it, but he's always so considerate. So he must have felt really guilty.
ありがとう。すまないな。こんなことをお前に頼んで。
Don't be sorry, the fate of the entire company is resting on this project after all.
プロジェクトか。
Project.
確かにそうだな。
The president allowed himself to smile just a bit, but quickly turned serious again.
よければ、その会食の日までにこの家に馴染んでいてくれ。内装も妻の好みでという話になるだろうからな。カーテンやカーペットなど変えたいものがあったら言ってくれ。すべてお前好みに合わせて業者を手配させる。
Ooh, I can redecorate the place. Okay, take care.
Oh.
He's blushing. He walked out the door and I heard him start up his car and drive off. Standing there alone, I checked the time again. It's already 8 o'clock. I guess I already knew that. I thought maybe we'd have a chance to make dinner and eat together, but he'd left before I could even suggest it. I was sure he'd be having a jelly drink or protein bar for dinner as usual. Ah yes, this is our chance to make Mr. Snail eat actual food! Maybe I should try making him something tomorrow so he can at least have a proper breakfast. Yes, Lynette! I only had 3 days to figure out how to act like I'd been with him for the past 4 years. And to do that, I'd have to spend more time with him. But wait, 4 years ago I was technically still a teenager. Going by normal human time, I'd only been at the company for 2 years. Although obviously I was much, much older. Oh well, it's not like I have to tell them my actual human age. I'll just pretend to be a little bit older. But Mr. Snail really is thoughtful. He's fine with changing the entire decor to fit his wife's tastes. It's clear that when he does something, he goes the whole 9 yards. But I actually like the decor, so I'll just leave it as is. But maybe I should place some flowers, or at least add a few things of my own to make it look like people actually live here. If I'm going to pretend to be married in order to protect Mr. Snail's secret, I want to do everything I can to make it work. The kitchen looks too clean for one thing. I decided to make dinner in order to make it look like it actually gets some use. You should also let Chi out of your bag before he suffocates. Oh, whoops! I totally forgot about Chi. Chi's cries from my bag reminded me that I'd brought him with me. And that's how my married life with Mr. Snail began. He was almost never home. A lot of the time he wasn't even in Los York. He was busy flying around to meetings all over the place. And when he wasn't travelling, he stayed at the office till past midnight, then left the house before I got up in the morning. As the day of the dinner party approached, he only really communicated via email and messages. Well, that's not going to be very helpful, is it?
こんばんは、スネイル君。今日はお招きいただきありがとうございます。
本日はご足労いただきありがとうございます。
I was there welcoming our guests on my own. She was on standby in the bedroom before making her entrance, to match her reputation as being shy and sickly.
まったく、よく思いつくものだ。私一人ではこうはいかない。
The truth is, she'd planned the entire evening single-handedly, which meant I could relax and focus on our guests. But this would be the first time a client would meet my wife, so I was still nervous regardless.
こんばんは、お邪魔します。ところで、噂の奥様は？
今連れてまいります。人見知りですので気遅れしているようでして。
あらまあ、聞いていた通り、可愛らしい奥様ね。
Adorable, huh?
ですが、私が普段からお二人の話をしていたもので、今日はお二人にお会いできるのをとても楽しみにしていまして、少々お待ちください。
So the question is, did these two watch Parasite House, and are they going to immediately recognize our girl Lynette? I led the guests to their seats, then headed for the bedroom. I quietly knocked on the bedroom door. As soon as I entered, I froze up and found myself at a complete loss for words. All I had to do was let her know we were ready, and yet... Oh, is everyone all set? As she turned to look at me, I caught a whiff of some kind of elegant perfume. She looked completely different from usual. So she looked completely different from normal. She had somehow perfectly captured the essence of a president's wife. I'm supposed to be the wife of a successful president, right? So in a more ladylike outfit. What do you think?
悪くない。いや、よく似合っている。
He likes it. He clearly likes it. He's blushing. He doesn't have words. Great. Oh, and it just occurred to me. But should I be wearing a wedding ring? I'd totally forgotten about that. I did have one I wore when I went for media interviews and things like that, but...
さすがにまずいだろう。未婚の女性に人を騙すために結婚指輪をさせるなんて。
It was a little too late to be worrying about the ethics of the situation, but I felt like some things just shouldn't be done.
いや、それはいい。サイズが合わなくなって直してもらっているとか言えばいいはずだ。
Oh, all right. Well, we shouldn't keep our guests waiting. Shall we go? She was wearing a light red lipstick, and her smile was more reserved than normal. She slipped her arm around mine. She was so soft and warm. She was the image of pure femininity.
まずい。
Someone's catching feelings. It had been years since I'd been with a woman like this. I'd completely forgotten how it felt. All these years I'd done nothing but focus on my work. And because of that, I hadn't made personal connections with any women. I hardly remembered what this sensation was like. If I'd known it would be like this, I would have put some effort into preparing for it. But it was too late for that. I cleared my throat in an attempt to rid myself of the embarrassing emotion, then stared forward toward the door. It's showtime. Oh, our Lynette looks so good. Look at her. Look how pretty Lynette is. Yeah, no one's gonna recognize her from what she normally wears. Oh, she looks so good. Thank you both so much for waiting. Mr. Snail and I walked into the living room together. When our guests saw me, they gasped out loud. Yeah, right? She looks stunning. Like, I can understand why Mr. Snail was at a loss for words.
あらまあ、なんて可憐なんでしょう。そちらがいつもお話しされていた奥様ね。お会いできて光栄ですわ。
I'm very pleased to meet you too. I'm Lynette Snail. You're still gonna use Lynette, huh? Thank you so much for visiting with us today.
ようやくお会いできましたな。どうもよろしく。
I could feel his passion in his firm handshake. For my part, I shot Mr. Snail a feeble glance. I was supposed to be the timid, frail Mrs. Snail. I had to appear as if I relied on my husband for everything. I have to make sure not to forget that once we sit down to eat too. I could easily get careless and start talking the way I normally would. I committed myself to making sure that didn't happen. I apologise for missing out on meeting you so many times due to my unfortunate condition. But I am really glad to finally meet you. Please, make yourselves at home. I gave them my best elegant but delicate smile. They just smiled back at me in return. Things seem to be off to a good start. If I could keep up this act as the president's wife, everything might turn out okay. But the truth is, I'm feeling kind of anxious for a totally different reason. I was more worried about saying something to upset or offend them than I was about having our lie exposed. Her guest today was the president of a famous jewelry brand. As a bridal advisor, I was perfectly aware of just how popular their products were among our members. I didn't want to say something rude and hurt our relationship. I saw why Mr. Snail was so reluctant to bring in someone else. No wonder he's had so much trouble finding a compatible partner. You're right. Eventually it won't be a lie. The president's wife has to support him in any given social setting. It sounds old-fashioned, but it's still pretty important. His real wife would constantly be going back and forth with lots of different businesses. The pressure must be crazy. I'm sure his wife feels the same way. I should learn as much from her as I can. I looked over at Mr. Snail and smiled. I could tell how nervous he was in that moment. But the setting itself was surprisingly relaxed, and dinner was served. Mr. Snail had arranged for a trusted personal chef to prepare the meal. As we ate, we made friendly small talk. The full-course meal really was impressive, with lots of items I'd never had before. I made sure not to get too aggressive with it. After all, I was supposed to be weak and reserved. If I suddenly started eating like a professional, I'd lose all credibility. So I made sure to only take small portions as I ate. Honestly, it made me a little sad. I'm not even close to full. I hope there are some leftovers. That's all I could think about as I did my best to eat with grace. I also couldn't help but compare the two presidents.
それで、お二人の馴れ初めをお伺いさせてもらってもいいですかな?
This sounds like a question we should have prepared for.
あらあら、私も気になるわ。お二人はどんな風に知り合ったんですの?
They were both clearly eager. I looked to Mr. Snail. It was time to move on to the next phase of our plan. He nodded at me slightly as if to reassure me, then took the lead in the conversation.
子供の頃、近所だったんです。
Ah, childhood friends, that's what we're going for. This was the story we'd come up with earlier. Oh good, they did prepare a story. Good. If we said we met as students, they could look into us former classmates and the lie could easily be exposed. But as long as we kept it vague, a neighbourhood friend could mean anything, even the next suburb over, for example.
ほう、ご近所か。スネイル君はどこ出身でしたかな?
ワラントンです。
Washington.
あら、本当? 私もワラントン出身なのよ。夏になると気持ちのいいところよね。
Oh no! The other president's wife is from there!
ええ、妻ともよく自然公園に遊びに行ったものです。
あら、素敵ね。じゃあ、もうお付き合いは長いのね。
Yes, but I was sick a lot, so I wasn't able to go outside as much as I would have liked. Shelby was always there to keep me company. As children, I was constantly asking him for favours. I'm sure I was the source of quite a number of headaches for him. I smiled softly to give off the air of a wife that's always relied on her husband, and leaned on Mr. Snails' arm. The president twitched a bit at my touch, but he managed to appear calm as he nodded.
ええ、本当にこいつには手ばかりかかって。だが、そこが可愛いと言いますか。
He's definitely blushing now.
なるほどな。シェルビー君が外に奥さんを連れてこないのにはそういうわけがあったんですね。いや何、ずっと気になっていたんですよ。愛妻家でのろけ話はよく聞くんですが、誰も見たことがないのはどういうわけだろうね。
そうなんです。私もついこの妻の愛らしさを独り占めしたくて。
He was clearly trying to brag, but there was clear hesitation in his voice. It was obvious how embarrassing this all was for him. But for them, I'm sure it just made things all that more convincing. The two of them were smiling openly at us.
よく理解しました。大切なお姫様というわけですな。
His precious princess.
そんなお姫様を私たちに会わせてくださりありがとうございます。とても嬉しいわ。
いえ、こちらこそなかなか連れ出せずに申し訳ありません。
I'm sorry it took me so long to work up the courage to show myself. Since I spent so much time inside, I'm afraid I'm a bit lacking in social graces. I was worried about coming off as rude. I smiled and gently placed my hand on Mr. Snails. I'm just glad that the first people I've properly met after all this time are so kind. Thank you so much for today.
初めてなんですか。お姫様のお披露目に我々を選んでいただけたとはそれは光栄ですな。
これからも末長いお付き合いをどうぞよろしくお願いしますね。
Could Mirror in her name be an example of her being a reflection of the player? Maybe. I don't know. I guess that would. Hmm.
ええ、こちらこそ。
But I mean, maybe not also. Yes, I certainly wish for the same thing. The time felt right, so I softly cleared my throat. This was the signal that Mr. Snail and I had agreed on earlier.
リネット、大丈夫か？
おや、大丈夫ですか？
I'm sorry, it's just... my cough tends to flare up around this time of night. It's really nothing, but... I pretended to struggle to smile, then weakly placed a handkerchief over my mouth. This was our plan to discourage them from asking to see me again, or introduce me to other acquaintances of theirs. We needed to reinforce the reason why Mr. Snail's reclusive wife had never appeared in public for the last 4 years. We wanted something that felt realistic without coming off as rude, and this was the plan we'd come up with. I really did feel guilty for lying to them, but it was necessary to keep the larger lie from entering the public sphere. It felt like we were putting on a play. The wife of Mr. Snail, or something like that. At that moment, dessert was being brought in from the kitchen. There was quite the selection to choose from. Tiramisu, sorbet, and mousse were all placed in front of the others. But of course the sickly wife only had enough appetite for a bit of sorbet. I hope you're gonna feed her properly later, Mr. Snail. The dinner party had gone off without a hitch, and we escorted the couple out of the house with a smile. Once we were alone, I changed back into my normal clothes and sank into the sofa in my room. I'm completely wiped out. I figured that pretending to be a president's wife would be tiring, but I had no idea how exhausting lying could be. I felt terrible for lying, and I'd never even caught a cold before, so pretending to be so frail was a real challenge. But I was a wife who'd never been seen in 4 years, and I couldn't mess with that backstory. It was too late to change now. I do wish I could have eaten more of that dinner, though. Even though it was a full-course meal, all I got to eat was the soup, the salad, and a bit of the sorbet. The main course was steak, fish, and pasta, and I couldn't touch any of it. It was my own idea, of course, so... You can't have a wife that's been too frail to leave the house for the past 4 years chowing down on a giant steak. But the end result was that I was absolutely starving. I'd been a human for 6 years now, so I'd gotten pretty used to the rhythm of their normal human life cycle. So naturally I got hungry just like anybody else, and my stomach would even growl. I'm sure Aunt Minerva would have been shocked. I wonder if there are any leftovers. I headed to the kitchen to see if there was anything left. I was gonna have to get reheated and everything. And when I got there, Mr. Snail was out on the terrace, sitting on the couch with his head between his hands. Sir? He jerked a bit, but looked relieved when he saw it was just me. Still, he looked more exhausted than usual. Are you okay? You look tired.
大丈夫だ。お前こそ疲れただろう。すまないな、苦労をかけて。だが、助かった。お二人にあれだけ満足してもらえた会食は初めてだからな。いつも帰り際に言われていたんだ。いつか奥さんを見てみたいとな。だから助かった。
He is very considerate, isn't he? Perfect gentleman. I'm glad to hear that, but you really do seem kind of down. Are you sure you're feeling alright?
自分の不甲斐なさに反省していただけだ。
He sighed and looked at me with a sense of guilt in his eyes.
すまなかった。お前にあんな嘘をつかせて。未婚である女性に妻の役割をさせるなど本来あってはならないのに。本当にすまない。こんなことに巻き込んで。
I really don't mind at all. I get to help protect the company, and I'm getting paid to do it. It's two birds with one stone.
だが
Seriously, please don't worry about it. I could totally understand how it would be if I was human. But as Cupid, my entire existence revolves around helping others find love. The whole ethical dilemma about asking an unmarried woman to do this doesn't apply to me. The company's survival is what matters. Lying is pretty exhausting, that much was true. But it does nothing compared to the thought of the company going under.
頼もしいな。だが、私にできることがあれば何でも言ってくれ。可能な限り、期待に沿うようにしよう。
In that case, she wants food and she wants it right now. Well, in that case... I was thinking about what to say, and just at that moment, my stomach let out an a mighty growl.
今のは、まさか。
Please tell me you didn't hear that. The truth is, I'm kind of starving right now. I admitted I was hungry since I didn't get to eat much at dinner. He was caught off guard for a second, then burst out laughing. Come on, don't laugh! I hardly got to eat anything!
確かにそうだったな。病弱で人見知りの妻の役も楽ではないというわけか。
Seriously, that much food isn't nearly enough for someone as active as me. So all I want right now is to eat until I pass out. I glared at him with annoyed embarrassment. Eventually, his own gaze relaxed a bit.
そうか。なら今用意する。と言っても、さっきのシェフが作っておいてくれた料理を温め直すだけだがな。
Yay for reheated leftovers. Huh? Does that mean there's leftovers?
ああ、お前に出さなかった分はきちんと避けて冷蔵庫に入れておいてもらっている。今持ってくるから待っていろ。
Ah, good. She gets to eat the rest of her meal. It's going in the microwave. I assume. He headed to the kitchen to warm up some food for me. Before long, the wonderful sense of warming food reached me and I started to get excited. Alright. Given that we've just changed scenes and it's getting close to 10 o'clock, so I think I'll call it there for the night. Hey, we made it into our route finally! Huzzah! Thank you very much for coming. It's been fun. If you're new here and you've enjoyed your time, please consider subscribing to the channel. Follow me on Twitter, which is where the stream schedule for the week is posted. The next scheduled stream is Wednesday, 7 PM, and I believe that will be the completion of the room 3. Yes. Had to check I had that the right way around. Hope to see you then, or some other time. Once again, thanks for coming, and this is Kalla signing out. See ya! Bye bye!